Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Closing, a collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is the 3 p.m. show where we are going to be getting you the entire market closing action. But first up, the top news. Markets trade volatile. Sensex falls about 450 odd points. The Nifty also nears 25,850 on the monthly expiry session. Remember, IT sector as well as real estate, consumer durables have slipped in trade, but PSU banks and metals are shining bright. Mehli Mistry's reappointment as trustee on Tata Trusts board is unlikely, says news report. At least 3 trustees are believed to have voted against the reappointment. Mehli Mistry term will end today. Hindustan Aeronautics has signed an MOU with Russia's United Aircraft Corp in Moscow to produce SJ-100 passenger jets in India, marking India's return to full-scale aircraft manufacturing after decades under the Atmanirbhar aviation push. India's largest commodity exchange MCX suffers its longest ever trading halt, with systems are down over 4 hours in trade today. Gold and silver futures have seen their trading get halted. This also marks the second major disruption in the last 4 months for MCX, coming just a day after the launch of the bullion index options. OpenAI rolls out 1-year free access to ChatGPT Go in India starting November 4th. Offers, claims and aims to expand user base in its second largest, fastest growing market. Existing Go subscribers are also eligible for the free plan. Well, straight away, let's look at the big breaking news that's coming in right now. You can actually see the government officials who are talking about not issuing any kind of an advisory on the oil companies on buying of Russian crude. Government officials have also highlighted that there is no stance on Russian crude oil purchases, at least for now. The other important point that government officials have marked out is that they cannot comment on the Russia crude buys, at least for the Indian companies, as the US deal is also in the final stages as for now. Well, remember, the stock markets in the last 1.5 weeks odd have been cheering some sort of an optimism between India and the US on progressing the talks positively on the trade deal which is in the offing. There have been many points that have been sticking out. One of them has been India's consistent buying of Russian oil as well. Of late, we've been seeing a lot of private companies in India, including Reliance Industries as well, which have pointed out that they are finally, aligning their own purchases of or imports of crude oil, aligning them with Indian government's own directions as well. For now, we are for the first time seeing government officials now coming out and talking about how there has not been any sort of an advisory to oil companies on buying of Russian oil. There's also no stance on the Russian crude oil purchases. Also, government officials have said that they cannot comment on the purchases related to Russian crude oil as of now, because the US deal seems to be in the final stages as for now. Let's actually now welcome our guest on board. We are joined by Mr. Ashu Madan, MD of JM Financial, who's joining in to share with us his views on the markets and, of course, to help us understand what will the markets make of these new developments as far as Russian crude oil is concerned. Ashuji, warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Well, last 1.5 weeks of a move on the markets. Of course, it was the festive spirit that was fueling some high moves on the markets. We've also seen 2-3 attempts beyond 26,000 as well. There is also a renewed hope that all those sticking points between India and US could be ironed out soon, and we could have a potential deal in the near future as well. We are already seeing developments on the China front, and therefore we could also hope for an India deal to be sorted out soon. One of the key issues has been the Russian oil purchases by India. So far, Indian government has maintained that we will buy oil from wherever we want to. This is not a point of contention. This is not even a matter that trade deals should actually bring up as well. How would you be looking at these fresh statements that are coming in?
Sakshi, all said and done, one should realize that from almost 30th September, we were at 24,600. And in just a month's time, we are almost touching 26,000, or almost 26,000 is a psychological mark. We are there at 26,000. So even if the things are fine, even if the things are good, I think it's the kind of market which is like buy on rumors, sell on news. So this 1400 point journey, 75% of the tariff good news probably is already priced in. We might see some sharp spike or a gap up or a jump whenever the actual news come. But my advice to all the people, like we were talking last couple of fortnights, that from 25,000 to 26,000 journey, one has to churn their portfolio and be in the right stocks, which are, tariff proof, and probably all the stuff which will help tariff gain momentum. Tariff will help gain momentum. So I think our advice to all our clients is generally that 26,000 is just a psychological mark. So 26,200, which is an all-time high, closer to this level. I mean, the recent trading profits one should take off the table. The news could be good, but as I said, 75% of it is already priced in this.
Okay, fair point. Let's actually look at the markets as well and see how they're trading in the last 15 minutes of trade. Remember, we've had a choppy session thus far. You can actually look at all of the market moves at this point in time. The Nifty is hovering at 25,935 right now. We've pulled up from the day's lowest point as well. So there is a spike that we are betting big on, and this could indicate that the next 15 minutes odd could also see an attempt back into the green for the Nifty. The Sensex is also toggling, along the flat line at this point in time at 84,676 at this point in time as well. Remember, there's also this news flash that's coming in that the government has approved the 8th pay commission format for government staff. That's also leading to some positive inflows in the markets and the sentiment that's also booming around. Remember, there are lots of companies and stocks that are also in focus that are reacting positively to the earnings. Let's look at Newgen Software. That's the top mover as far as the Nifty 500 names are concerned. A 10% move on that one. You can also look at NetWeb Technologies. That's also up by about 7.5%. There's also Car Trade, a Q2 profit which has more than doubled, and the stock has surged 18% in trade as well. We're also looking at TVS Motor. Here, the consolidated Q2 profit for the company has also zoomed by 42% year on year to 833 odd crore rupees. The revenue here has jumped by about 25%. So the earnings season is getting into the thick of action. Let's get a word from Ashuji on the entire earnings season that's panning out, and see if there are any positive surprises that could bring up any more opportunities for investors. Ashuji, what would you say? A lot of these mid-cap companies really coming up with good set of numbers. Any suggestion there?
I think the space is different. Sakshi, again, if you look at, if you prepare a chart as an analyst or probably as a research guy, the then 26,000 and now 26,000, there are so many popular stocks which are held in the portfolio of clients and people which are still 20 to 30% down. So that is why the celebration of 26,000 is not as much as it should have been. At the same time, there are different companies which were out of radar or which were out of flavor, and few of them were, big IT names which have performed well, or probably the expectations were not there. They have performed really good. So that is where we have seen the action led by few banks also. So Sakshi, as I said, that in this kind of a market, the churn is very important unless you are an index or index trading platform. So, and also there has been no negative surprises. So best thing about this quarter is that there are no negative surprises. I think I can say rarely I have seen that there were no accidents per se during this quarter, but otherwise also always in the past there used to be some accidents on account of result. Probably this is the first quarter in as many quarters, the last 4-5 quarters I've seen no accident, which is a very good news. And next quarter is generally tend to be a good. There are pent up demand. The result effect will result will take care of the effect of that. So we can see a better quarter. So I think the base is becoming higher. So markets are in a good hands. But at the same time, the tariff excitement, one should control that. The next move should be a profit booking move. when one has to review their portfolio again after once the tariff news is out, because as I said that majority of it is already discounted. But on the specific stock front, I mean, we keep coming out with the different suggestions, and 10, 15, 20% return on the the portfolio. It has become a trading market. I mean, you invest for certain returns, you get it whether on account of result, whether on account of trading news. As I said, the people who invested around 25,000, 26,000 in 30 days, I mean, that's an excellent return. One should book profit. And I mean, per se, you should not be married to a long term. Why do we invest in for long term, Sakshi, for returns? But if 30 days or 60 days
Okay.
are offering you that kind of a return, what is the problem?
Absolutely. Got that. One more important news that's just coming in, viewers, and everybody should note that, and we will, of course, discuss that with Ashuji as well, is with respect to India's largest conglomerates, and that's with the Tata Group. Remember, over the last few weeks, you've been consistently looking at what exactly is happening and why is there an internal rift within Tata. Now, in one of the most high-profile boardroom battles seen ever in the country, Tata veteran Mehli Mistry has reportedly been ousted from Tata Trusts. Mehli Mistry has been up for reappointment in the trust, and the deadline for the vote has been today. Now remember, according to a report, a majority has voted against him, and Mistry, once a very close confidant of the late Ratan Tata, will not have his term renewed. The Tata Trusts hold about 66% of the stake in Tata Sons, with the two major trusts, Sir Ratan Tata Trust as well as Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, holding around 51%. Sir Ratan Tata Trust currently has 7 trustees: Noel Tata, Venu Srinivasan, Vijay Singh, Jimmy N. Tata, the younger brother of Ratan Tata, Mehli Mistry, and also Jahangir H.C. Jahangir, as well as Darius Khambata. Now, reports have indicated that Jimmy Tata usually does not participate in these votes, whereas Noel Tata, Venu Srinivasan, and Vijay Singh have actually voted against, while Jahangir as well as Darius Khambata have voted in favor. The other trust, that's Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, has 6 trustees, which has Noel Tata, Venu Srinivasan, Vijay Singh, Mehli Mistry, Pramjit Jhaveri, as well as Darius Khambata. Of these, what we are given to understand is that Noel Tata, Venu Srinivasan and Vijay Singh have reportedly voted against the reappointment of Mehli Mistry. And for more on this, we're now joined by Business Today's executive editor, Krishna Gopalan, who's been tracking this very, very closely. And the latest edition of Business Today magazine also had this entire rift decoded and the cover story as well. Krishna, first up, what is the immediate implication of this development? How would you assess this Mehli Mistry's oustment that is being seen?
Yes, it's been a most interesting development. And given that Mehli Mistry now will not be a part of Tata Trust anymore, the whole issue now takes a very different turn. Just to reiterate, 1/3 of the board composition of Tata Sons will have to come in from Tata Trust. The board of Tata Sons has 9 members now, so 1/3 will have to come in. That makes it 3. Vijay Singh has already stepped down as the Tata Sons board member September this year. So that slot is now up for grabs. We still don't know who's going to come in. But from a larger picture, I think the more important takeaway is the fact that with the exit of Mehli Mistry from Tata Trust, the levels of disagreement that one saw within a trust might start to abate. There is a point I would like to mention here, is that this has come soon after top execs from the trust and Tata Sons met with Union Minister Amit Shah. One still does not know what transpired at that particular meeting, but it's probably fair to understand based on our own sources that the government wants tranquility and nothing else on the board of Tata Trust and the group overall. So the trust, of course, is the link to Tata Sons in that way. We have a whole host of overseas investors who've committed to joint ventures with Tatas. So the government obviously doesn't want any level of disharmony or any sense of disagreement coming in from the investors. So it's very clear that the message to the government was to maintain peace and harmony. The exit of Mehli Mistry, known to be extremely close to Ratan Tata, given that he's out of the way now, it's broadly assumed that a lot of peace will prevail.
Okay, remains to be seen if Mehli Mistry is ousted, who will be taking that seat there going forward from here. So a lot of developments that all of us will need to track for one of the biggest conglomerates and one of the biggest boardroom battles that we are seeing in the country as of now. Ashuji, how have you been assessing what's happening at the Tata Group? Do you see this internal rift also getting reflected in any sort of a stock market performance or underperformance? This is also taking place at a time when newer companies from Tata Group are also getting listed. We've had Tata Capital list recently as well. That's increasing the number of companies that from the Tata Group are inviting stock market participants to participate in the group companies as well. And when such a large group and a conglomerate shows up in terms of internal drift, how should an average investor really judge it?
See, average investor is already, feeling the pinch, Sakshi. If you look at the life before Ratan Tata and life after Ratan Tata, we can see that in spite of there's so much volatility in the market and everything, such sharp recovery in the past many months, almost a year. If you look at majority of Tata companies, listed companies, the stock prices have, struggled. They are acting as a laggard. So that itself answers what is the concern. So I would say that no, and on one hand we say that everything is being run very professionally or everything, but I think that emotion of Ratan Tata, once you feel that is missing, the life will be very different for the, whether the company, the employees, or probably the shareholders also. So one has to bear that. Life before Ratan Tata and life after Ratan Tata will be very different, and we can see this in the stock prices of majority of the company, whether it is Tata Power, Tata Motor, Tata TCS, Tata Chemical. All the stocks are struggling and they are not performing as per the expectation, and I think one has to live with it.
One has to live with it and see through all these developments and be very careful with the kind of statements that are coming in right now. But clearly, life before and life after is a lot different, and one will have to see whether the erstwhile, performance of the Tata Group will actually continue going forward from here or not. That's something that we will keep an eye on our minds as well. But definitely, we'll keep an eye out on all those developments and keep you posted with all of that as well. Ashwaji, also help us understand where exactly are you finding value in the markets. We've started off somewhere 2082. We were talking to you about in the run up to Diwali as well, where a lot of focus was on the consumption space. Now into the new year, where are the opportunities that investors should be looking at, especially at a time when even gold and silver prices are now cooling off from their all-time high levels? That was something that was leading a lot of investors to be in a FOMO. Finally, gold and silver is also cooling off. Equities are trying to balance out, finding their way above that 26,000 mark. How should one really look at some opportunities that present now?
I think, Sakshi, last time also we discussed that this digital platforms, which are the consumption platforms, would be the flavor of the day, and also PSU banks led by SBI. And we have seen the performance of SBI in the last fortnight and in the September month. And these are, telecom stocks. These are the few themes I think which will continue to do good. But as I said, 26,200 is a level where fresh investments have to be, little pruned down. One has to be little patient. One has to wait for correction, because, as I said, that when once, the herd gets excited on certain news, the smart money books profit. So that is one thing which one should keep it in mind, that 26,000 to 26,200 is a resistance level, is a consolidation level. We might see, market correcting from those levels. Even if it doesn't correct, I think that the simple discipline, the prudence says that we should book profit. Otherwise, for a little longer term themes, as I said, PSU banks led by SBI still looks good. And all these Eternals, Swiggy, Paytm, Nykaa, which we discussed last time, for a medium to longer term horizon, I think one should stick with these themes, because the consumption themes with the digital platform, which brings in a lot of herd or mob, which I say, would continue to do well.
Ashuji, help us understand when it comes to the increasing competition that we are seeing in the e-commerce space now. We've seen how in the last week we have got Reliance Group also entering the 10-minute delivery fray as well. So when deep-pocketed players also enter this buzzing space, how do you see the dynamics change?
See, dynamics change over a period of time. I mean, we win some, we lose some, but at the same time, these kind of a news flow, when triggers a correction in the established players, that becomes an opportunity also to buy those stocks, because these kind of news at times help you get stocks at a lower price. So all these kind of competition is good, because it helps. I mean, see, all said and done, the market expansion is happening, so that expansion helps everyone. So consumer is getting benefited, the companies are getting benefited. So I think the established player will continue to do well, because they are leading from the front. So it will always help them, and this competition is very healthy, and it helps us trigger get some. It triggers some correction in the stock, and one gets at a lower price, which is a very good thing.
Absolutely. Viewers, let's keep our attention now on the market closing. We just have 1 minute to go before the market shut shop for the day. Remember, we are back above the 25,950 odd market. That's a saving race. But do we have a green tick there on the Nifty? Not yet, but on the Nifty Bank, we still have about a 0.25% of an uptick. So we pulled up from the day's lowest point, and that's the good thing that we are seeing at this point in time. Absolutely flat is what we have on the Nifty, 25,962. But the Nifty Bank is pulled up for sure. Remember, it's been the PSU banks that have also led this rally. Like yesterday, we've actually also seen the PSU banks reacting to some sort of buzz that the FDI limit will be enhanced to about 49%, and the doubling of that is really leading to some sort of a move on the PSU banks. Yesterday also, this was the top moving sectoral index. Today also, this index is up by about 1.5%. You can see 8,093 on the PSU banking index right there. Let's also look at some of the other sectors that are buzzing in trade today. You have the Nifty Bank, like we already pointed out, 0.3% higher. Then you also have names within the mid caps and the small caps that are also doing just slightly better off than the benchmark indices there. Let's also talk about the IT space that's also, hovering absolutely flat with the negative bias at this point, about now 0.6% lower now. So the IT index is somehow giving up some of those gains at this point. But let's look at some of the big gainers that we can spot at this point. Newgen Software, about 10% higher. Chennai Petro, 9% higher. Netweb Technologies, about 7.5 to 8% up in trade. Kirloskar Oil, also about 7% up in trade as well. So these are the top buzzers in trade. Talk about the stocks that have reacted to the Q2 earnings. We marked out Cartrade for you. The stock had surged 18% intraday. TVS Motors also moved up in trade right after the earnings, especially the profit jumping by 40%. Look at those top gainers in front of you. SBI Life continues with its top surge. IndusInd Bank, JSW Steel, Tata Steel. These are all the names that are up by 3 to 4 odd percent. And you can see across the board that the metals are also shining bright at this point. But we have the market closing where the Nifty has ended the monthly expiry session in the red today. You can see about 25,936 on the Nifty. But let's look at some of the questions that are coming in from our viewers for Mr. Madan right there. We have the first question from Sarthak Singh from Agra. He says, Ashu sir, can we expect the next bull run, and when can that come, and any key sectors that will drive the next bull run in the markets? What would you advise, Ashuji? When can we expect the next bull run?
I think it is always a very difficult question to answer, because everyone wants to know. It is very difficult. I think the thematically, test, like in cricket, test match has become one day international, and one day international has become T20. So I think we should go step by step. And see, it's not the way market is consolidating itself is a bull run. I mean, Sakshi, today also I was looking at an article, I was preparing a research report that in the past couple of decades, the kind of bear market, or the long duration of consolidation which we have witnessed, this current generation has not witnessed at all. So I think that is why they are very impatient, they are very jittery, and for a few weeks or months, the market doesn't move or consolidates. They think that this is not a bull market. We are already in a bull market. I mean, we are, in spite of what has happened across the world.
Sure.
I mean, and precisely, I mean, the earnings effect which we had. I mean, this last 1 year, the way we have consolidated within a range of upper range of 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 points and closer to new high we are. This is actually a bull market. I mean, and if you look at the stock prices, Sakshi, I mean, the lot of stocks
Sure.
reached with the nifty levels of 18,000 or 20,000. So these are two different markets. So this question, I mean, does not hold too much of value now. The definition of bull market has totally changed. This consolidation is a bull market. Index holding is a bull market. So few stocks are already in a bull market. So one has to keep alert. You cannot remain passive with your portfolio. Now, gone are the days that our fathers or forefathers buy HLL, ITC and Asian Paint and they live happily ever after. And certainly after 10 years, 15 years, I mean, things change. I mean, there's a fierce competition. We are connected globally. So the definition of long-term and this bull market has totally changed. So I would say we are currently in a bull market. There are themes. I mean, we have the ideas to make money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Ashuji, we will then thank you on that note for being with us on this very special edition. It's always a pleasure to host you and seek such wonderful insights as well on the markets. We will, of course, speak to you, very soon, again, to get a sense of where exactly should the money go, as we have already begun this Summer 2082 on a volatile note, but hoping that times could actually turn for the better for the market and for the market participants as well going forward. And before we wrap up, viewers, don't miss the Business Today AI Summit 2025 tomorrow from 2 p.m. onwards, only on Business Today Television, YouTube, and all our social media platforms as well. Also, hear from global leaders like Google, Microsoft, and the top Indian innovators as they share bold insights into how AI is actually giving inclusive growth opportunities and tech sovereignty for a billion-plus nation of ours.
India's AI moment is here, and it's rewriting the future. From healthcare to battlefields, ethics to innovation, AI is reshaping every frontier. What's India's playbook for the age of intelligence? Top names from global giants show the way ahead. At the Business Today AI Summit 2025, October 29th